Good morning to all. I'm Ambili. Today I'm going to deal with the topic character analysis of Akila in Lady Coupe novel. So I'm dealing with first and third chapter, and the rest of her Akila's characters portion will be discussed by Ashika and Akila. Yeah, Lady Coupe it was written by Anita Nair, is an Indian novelist who used English as the language of her novels, and she's best for the novel Lady Coupe. And Lady Coupe, it's all about Akila, and she's trying to find find out the answer of her for her questions that can a woman live alone? Can a woman cope by herself? And this is a central question in the novel Lady Coupe, which was written by Anita Nair. Aldernair has delved deeply into the issues of patriarchy in Indian society. According to her, Lady Scope, it's not a feminist novel, but it's a novel which portrays the situation of every Indian woman who lives in such a patriarchal society. And then I tries to prove that oppression and suppression do not come in the form of violence always, but it is found mostly in terms of love too. So the central protagonist of the novel is Akila, and Akila. The novel happens mostly in train, especially in the ladies' coupe. Akila is described as a 45-year-old woman with no husband and children, an unmarried woman. She is a person dreaming of escape and sense hungry of life and experience and aching to connect. We understand that Agla is not a person of impulse, but she thinks over every single matter she comes across. That that is given in detail, especially with regard to the cotton saree, that we can come to later to that point. Next, yeah, Akila is a person with a lot of questions. She wonders whether a woman can live alone by herself in the society. If she was living alone, what do people think of a woman who lives alone? How do people look at her? And what are the doubts come to their mind? So these all are the questions that revolves around in her mind. And she's burdened with a lot of question, and she decided to take this journey to Kanyakumari after dreaming about the yeah, in the first chapter we can see that she was dreaming an compartment, a railway station, and she was sensing all the things that was happening in the railway station. And suddenly she decided that only after a journey she could find out the answers for her questions. So that's why she taking a long trip to Kanyakumari by train. uh, yeah. Akila family is described as having a father, mother, whom she calls as Appa and Amma, and her siblings Narayan, Nasi, and Padma. The events that unfold in the story happens after Akila's father's death. Like in the second, yeah, in the third chapter, we get to know that how father had died and how she had taken the burden of the family, and all such things we can get from the chapter 3. After the death of her father, being the eldest child of the family, she has to take up the responsibility of the family. Coming to the train journey, yeah, the train journey, she decided to turn to Kanyakumari to find answers of the question that trouble her mind, and she get a ticket in the ladies coupe that is only for yeah, ladies, and there are five other passengers who accompanies her. The five other women with whom she makes a conversation and tries to understand the situation of Indian women. So she is seeking uh, uh, she's trying to get a conversation with all those people, all those ladies, because then only she believes that she will get a conclusion for her question. She will get an answer how to live or what all the society will think about, and such types of questions answer she will get. That was her belief. And yeah, her passengers in this coupe, that is Janaki Prabhakar, Sheila Vasudevan, Margaret Prabhadevi, and Mari Kolantu. First, Janaki was saying about her journey. I mean, her life's history. She sharing her life experience to uh, Akila for finding, for getting an answer for Akila's questions. Janaki says that I'm not an advisor for this because I'm not that much older to give an uh, advice to you, but I can share my life life story. So how that's how Janaki shares her life history to Akila. In chapter 2 we can see that she is explaining her life. Yeah, yeah, I forgot to tell her full name, that is Akila. Its full name is Akilandeshwari, and she is the narrator of this novel too. And yeah, in that group, there are five other ladies. Agla asked them about the condition of women in Indian society. That's what she want to seek from them. They all enthusiastically tell their story to each other as they all are the strangers and never going to meet again. On that beliefs, Agila also get a confident that it's only up to a night. Uh, After the night, she doesn't going to meet anybody of them, so she can freely tell her story to those five passengers. Yeah. When Akila's father died, she was only 19 years old and she got a job of clerk in the income tax department. As a 19-year-old, uh, the young people, especially in her girls, it's all being to the romantic mood. But Agla had to take the entire burden of her family on her shoulders without any complaint. And because she is the eldest one of her family, and we get to know that her mother is an ideal Hindu wife, therefore, she imagines that her daughter should also follow her philosophy and thoughts. That's why Akila learned how to draw a column, and she learned household works to do. And all such stuffs are had learned because of her mother, because she always believes in the ideal Hindu. They are belong to the Brahmin family, and her mother not worked. She was not earning. The only earning member of the family is her father, Akila's father, Appa. Yeah, when Janaki shares her experience to Akila, uh, Akila had Akila had thought that the experience of life of Janaki, she felt sympathy for her ignorant beliefs and inability to come out from her comfort zone. Agla saw herself as a serpent that had lain curled and dormant for years. She saw life as a thousand petaled lotus she would have to find before she knew fulfillment. And while hearing the story of Akila, she panicked. Uh, Janaki always believes that woman like her, she always believed that a woman's duty was to get married, to be a good wife and a mother. She believed that in that tired old cliche, and that a home was a woman's kingdom. She worked very hard to preserve her, and then suddenly one day it did not matter anymore. No one cares about her dreams and wishes, and the burden of the family had put up in the shoulder of Achilles. So from the childhood itself, what her mother teach her is, yeah, you are the one who have to take care of the family. So her mother had prepared Akila for as a housewife. But what happens is that after the death of the father, she had to take care of her family and she had to lose all the dreams in her life. Her mother, Akila's mother, always teach how to draw a column because a sloppy column suggests that the woman of the house is a careless one and indifferent and capable. It's not capable for a family. She's not capable for the family. That's what the column will tell about the person who drawn the column. She represent buried her wishes, dreams, and emotion deep into her heart. For example, when Janaki asked about her uh, Agla's affair, did you have any love or something like that? Didn't you meet any man in your life? Akla replied that yeah, I had, but it's broke up because it's the man Harry. He is younger to Akilas. So because of the society's uh, because of these societies, the Agla's thinks that what people will think about her if she loves or marry a younger one. So that's why she broke up there with Harry. And Akila, she is too conscious about wearing a sari that even the sari she wear revealed the mindset of a woman. That was she believed that the cotton sari, if she wear it with nicely, it it tells that she is a girl which has planning and thinking of all things. But if a girl wears chiffon saree or ready to wear poly silks, the ladies were not capable of taking care of family. So such beliefs was in Akilas because the society had taught her to believe like such myths. So the ready to wear polyester such sarees are capable. These sarees for the people who change their minds at least 6 times every morning before they settled on what to wear. Um, Akhila's Amma always tell that write 1,000 times Sri Rama Jayam, then only you'll get a good husband. So I'll quote from the text that I quote, when the groceries were put away in the tins, Akila put aside the gunny and thread in a bag, and on a Sunday afternoons, she sat unraveling the knots and tying broken ends so that all she had to do was fasten it to the ball that was already as big as a coconut. Amma sniffed her nose at it, and anyone would think that it was silk thread. Why do you waste time on that? What use is to anyone would think you ran a grocery shop if you used this time every Sunday to write Sri Rama Jayam 1,000 times. You would at least collect enough blessing to find you a good husband. But Akila never pretend that she was listening to Amma. She always uh, never mind to Amma's talks, like these types of talks. And yeah, when her father had died, Amma stared at Aklas uh, and asked that how can you not cry? cried damn you. Shed a few tears for that man lying there. You will never weep for him again. Weep at least for decency. And so Akila cried for the next 10 days after hearing Amma's. And then she cried, and she cried for 10 days. And she always looked up on how she was going to take care of her family because her siblings are there. Her amma is always depend upon her appa, that every time they were uh, amma was trying to yeah, her mother always take decision only by asking to her husband, to Akila's father. Father is the one who takes decision in her family. And when Janaki asked about Akila's family, about husband, Akila said that I'm not married, and Janaki said, "Oh." Uh, she was lapsed into silence, and Akila could see Janaki thought she was offended. She took a deep breath. Like when Janaki asked to Akila about her family, when Akila said, I am unmarried and an unmarried woman, Janaki was silent for a moment and said sorry. Does that make any sense to us? Like, uh, Agla is thinking that what's the problem within that? Because being an unmarried woman, it's that much a problem. While Janaki said her life, Akila got to know that yeah, it's she can do, but all the society patriarchal influences around her force her to be in a state of dependency. So that evoke a sympathy in Akila's by thinking of Janaki. So yeah, in between first and third chapter, we can get to know that Akila is trying to find out the answer from the passengers by traveling to Kanyakumari, and she is the one who always tries to make society comfortable. That how society wanted to live a unmarried woman, that's how she living. So the rest of the chapters will be dealt by Akila and Ashika. So that's how.
Good morning, all. Today I'll be dealing with the topic the character analysis of Akila in the chapter 5 and 7 of the novel Ladies Coupe by Anita Nair. So, Akila or Akilandeshwari is the protagonist in the novel. She is a 45-year-old single Indian woman from a Tamil family, and Akila forms a connecting thread that links the experiences of the other five women whom she meets in the ladies' compartment of her train to Kanyakumari. So the fifth chapter begins with the death of Akila's father. And when Akila's father died, two things happened. One, Sunday becomes just another day of the week, and the most important thing, Akila becomes the man of the family. And here comes the turning point in her life, and so here her character begins to shape. Akila had passed her pre university exams with first class, and she was offered a job in the income tax department on compassionate grounds, and with it came the responsibility of keeping her family's bodies and souls together. And now that she has this huge responsibility, she becomes completely devoted to her family. Because she takes this whole responsibility of the house at age of 19. So 19 is the age group when most of the young girls are romantic about their bright perspective in future, but instead she had to take up the entire burden of her family on her shoulders, but that too without any complaint. So this conveys that she is selfless and precautious. Precautious in the sense that she takes up this responsibility at a very young age, and she does not complain about this, thus making her selfless. Another trait is that she is an organized person. So she leads her life with military precision, because that was the only way Aquila knew how to preserve order and keep her family from floating away from its moorings. So she used to prepare herself for the coming week. I quote, "Dawns diminish to dusk and Sundays dwindle to the day when she washed, starched, dried, and ironed the 6 cotton saris that comprised her entire office going wardrobe." Unquote. So this conveys that she is very systematic, organized, or rather we could say mechanical, because she was going in that systematic manner, being prepared for the next week or the coming days. Now, another character trait of Akila is that she does what is expected of her to do, and maybe because of this, she does not have an identity of her own. She actually feels that she has never got the chance to live her own life, because she was always fulfilling the roles of the daughter, sister, aunt, and the provider. She educated her siblings and worked hard till they earned a job of their own. But actually, we understand that she was being utilized by them, because when the scene where Nasi decided that he want to get married, um, they did not even think of Akila. Even her own mother did not ask Nasi the need to wait for her sister to get married before thinking of having a wife and family for himself. So she did not ask, mother, what about me? Because she was doing what is expected of her to do, what they expect Akila to be. I quote, "Even then, Amma and her brothers never asked, 'What about you? You have been the head of this family ever since Appa died. Don't you want a husband, children, a home of your own?' In their minds, Agila had ceased to be a woman and had already metamorphosed into a spinster." Unquote. So this actually conveys that Akila, in some sense, enjoyed being a martyr, because she was waiting for some others like Amma or Narayan to say something to broach the subject of Agila's marriage. And when they did not, Agila swallowed her hurt, the hurt she felt, and let the anger that grew in her flare. So this actually conveys that she was not an exceptionally strong woman, and is consider she is just somebody who was just coped. So she actually does what is expected of her to do, and she does not do anything extra of her own. What is expected of her to do, she does that. She does not do what she thinks or she feels is good for her, what she wants. She just does what others expect of her to do, to be in this tight compartment. You should be like this. That is what uh, such a type of life Akila is leading. She does what is expected of her to do, what society expects, what her family expects. uh, but considering another situation, she can also be considered as a bold and brave or courageous and strong woman. Not strong, like a brave woman, because considering the life of Sarasa Mami and her daughter, this story or these two characters can be read in parallel with the life of Akila, because she was bold and brave enough to secure a job, and to safeguard her family. She was actually able to, like what she was able to lead her life with that precision, and what is expected of the society to do. And another thing is that, or another trait is that, like all other women, she also has sensual desires, but she is actually afraid to express it, because that is not um, but that is not what is expected of her to do. Like what the society does not expect her to do, to express her feelings like that, or her family, like her amma or her brothers or sisters, nobody expects her to like nobody expects her to uh, express such sensuous feelings or desires. This is evident in this scene where I quote, "She thought of her dream and blushed. She ran her hand over her breast. Her nipples were stiff. How can I dream such dreams?" Unquote. So she thinks that she is not allowed to dream such dreams. Means she is not allowed to dream such things, because that was not expected of Akilanteshwari. That is not what society expects, what family expects of her. She was actually afraid of what society will say about her, what they will think about her. This is the same reason why when she falls in love with a man younger than her, she leaves him, afraid of what society will say. So I quote, "She must be his elder sister. Don't be silly. Do men bring their sisters to plays like this? Just an older woman, tired of her husband and looking for a stud to fill her day. More than just filling her day, I think." Agila cringed. The words had hurt then. They hurt even more now. She thought of the policeman on the bicycle. She thought of all strange looks that had come their way as they sat in restaurants, movie theaters, on the train. Unquote. So she wasn't actually sure whether she needs a man to complete her. Also, she was afraid what society would think about the relationship, because that was not what society expects. Society expects a younger, the female to be younger and the male to be elder one. That is what that is what the moral, or maybe that is what the correct or straight relationship that what the society accepts. And she also thinks that will Harry, that is a lover, will he regret this later? So that is why she says, Akila, I quote, "Akila took his hands in hers and said, 'Harry, this is goodbye. I will never see you again,'" unquote. So this conveys that she is a person who has desires, a person who longs for a change because she falls in love with a man younger than her, but then she is afraid of this change because of the same reason, these are the things that are not expected from Akila. Thus, she becomes an apt representative of a typical Indian woman, whose wings are tied by the fear about what society thinks of this male dominance and of what people will think about her. This thing can also be seen the scene where she inquires about to the new tenant about Sarasa Mami, and when the sorry, when the man asked her how do you know them, she said, I quote, "They were family friends." But suddenly she lost her courage and added, "But we haven't seen them for many years." So she is afraid, unquote. So she is afraid of what that man will think about her when he understands that she knew such people. So she is a woman who is accepted by the society, like she is a very good woman in the society, a sophisticated woman. So this type, so she having friendship with that kind of a people is not what society thinks or society expects her. So maybe she like to live according to the expectations of the society. So another instance that actually mm, mean so another instance that actually affirms this character of Akira is that even when his I quote, "Even when his love towards her was an uncomplicated feeling," that is when Hari's feeling towards her was uncomplicated, that needed no explanations nor reasoning. It was only Akila who tried to dissect his feeling again and again and came up with no definite conclusions. Unquote. So maybe she is a bit overthinking, or maybe she is more conscious about what people will think of her. So thus making her, she wants to be an ideal woman, what society thinks, what society expects her to be. So these are the character traits that is conveyed in these two chapters. Later um, in the coming chapter, she's changing. She becomes this brings up this revolutionary change and all. So that will be dealt with by Akila. So, these are the traits that can be considered while thinking about the character of Akila in these two chapters. Other traits will be dealt by Akila. So, thank you.
Hello everyone. Let's continue with the character Akila. Before that, let's take a look on the author of Ladies Coupe, Anita Nair. Anita Nair is a living postmodern Indian women writer in English. As a women writer, she goes deep into the inner mind of the depressed women by virtue of their feminine sensibility and psychological insight, and brings to light their issues, which are the outcome of Indian women's psyche and emotional inequalities in a male dominated society. Anita Nair's Ladies Coupe has turned out to be a great success. It is the story of a women's search for freedom and women's condition in a male dominated society. The novel raises the questions whether the role of an Indian woman as a representative of other women living under oppressive patriarchal systems in relation to cultural resistance should be restricted only to their roles as wives and mothers. In such a world, women's role is limited to reproduction regardless of her own desires and needs. Hence, this paper tries to point out how Anita Nair projects Indian feminism and attitude through women characters in her novels. In Ladies Coupe, Anita Nair deals with the concept of patriarchy and signifies a relationship of inequality. The story is an attempt to show how in life suppression and oppression do not always come in recognizable forms, but often under the guise of love, protection, and the assurance of security. Though patriarchy is a common concept in every woman's life, Anita Nair depicts carefully the diversity within each woman, as she did not want to put the lives of women to one ideal. Ladies Coupe is a story of 6 women who meet in a train journey just by chance. Agilandeshwari, the protagonist, listens to the story of 5 other women in the compartment and gives a story too in bits, seeking them in a solution to the question that has troubled her all her life. Can a woman stay single and be happy, or does a woman need a man to feel complete? The story switches over from past to present and present to past, and hence, even other than the 5 women in the compartment, we are shown of certain women who are humiliated and debased. Akila is a 45 years old spinster who takes various roles of a daughter, sister, aunt, and the provider of the family. As her father dies suddenly, she takes the burden of the entire family on her young shoulders. Anita Nair has used the character of Karpagam to bring an awareness to the society of women's demands and their need for self-expression. Karpagam is portrayed as a strong woman striving for self-definition in a patriarchal social organization. She is a widow, but unlike other widows, she wears the kumkum and colorful clothes. She is a courageous woman who breaks the shackles of patriarchy, and when she says, "I don't care what my family or anyone thinks, I am who I am, and I have as much right as anyone else to live as I choose." Tell me, didn't we as young girls wear colorful clothes and jewelry and a bow too? It has nothing to do with whether she is married or not and whether her husband is alive or dead. Who made these laws anyway? Some man who couldn't bear the thought that in spite of his death, his wife continued to be attractive to other men. Her defiance is outstanding when she says, "I live alone. I have for many years now. We are strong, Aki. Whatever you think you want to do, you want to leave alone." Build a life for yourself where your needs come first. More than any other women, Karpagam and her words instill a strong desire to live a life of a choice as Akhila feels. Karpagam, are you real or are you some goddess who had come here to lead me out of this? Thus, Anita Nair portrays a character of Karpagam as one who courageously breaks the larger framework of patriarchy that denies personal freedom to women. Anita Nair uses certain characters like Akhila's mother to express how women are strong conservatives of the patriarchal structure that has framed strict social, political, and economic limitations on women. Akhila's mother is a conservative and orthodox mother, a devoted wife with her own theory that a wife is always inferior to her husband. She is a sort of woman who never takes decision on her own but left all decision to her husband, for she believes he knows the best. According to her, a good wife learned to put her husband's interest before anyone else, even her father's. A good wife listened to her husband and did as she said. It is best to accept the wife is inferior to the husband. That way, there can be no strife, no disharmony. It is so much easier and simpler to accept one's station in life and live accordingly. When Akhila wants her mother to take music lessons or as Karpagam's mother teaches dance, she disapproves of it, telling, I don't approve of what Karpagam's mother is doing. She reminds Akhila what her father has told her when they were first married. I want my wife to take care of my children and me. I don't want her so caught up with her job that she has no time for the house or for taking care of my needs. Even after the death of Akhila's father, her mother lets her eldest daughter Akhila's shoulder the responsibilities of the entire family, taking advantage of her sense of duty to keep them safe, secure, and comfortable. Anita Nair brings in Sarasamami's family that faces a similar situation. As Subramani Iyer, Sarasamami's husband, dies, Sarasamami goes to every doorstep demanding to be taken as a servant maid. But every neighborhood just gives her a handful of rice as if she is a beggar, and this makes her sell her daughter Jaya for the sake of their living. Anita Nair chooses this family as a complete contrast of Akhila's family to interpret how the moral dilemmas of women are trapped in social and emotional circumstances struggling against oppression and destiny. Listening to the lives of various women in the coupe, Akhila gets down at Kanyakumari as an empowered woman who to rediscover herself. The more she wants to get rid of her life she had lived for others, she desires more of a life that is more of hurry and executes her decision to get reunited, connected to him over phone. Finally, she succeeds in her defense against patriarchy. She subverts the repressive forces of patriarchal ideas that have chained her, not letting to discover herself. Thus, in the novel Ladies Coupe, Anita Nair has presented an increasingly common concept of patriarchy in which a woman is constrained by tradition to be dependent on men, crippled to realize her own strength. She has presented her women struggling side by side because of patriarchy, but at the end has given them a gesture of defiance against patriarchy. Her women have been portrayed as intelligent, questioning women who are not contented with the injustice and rebellion against them. So Anita Nair's women raise the question of their way of life consolidated by patriarchy and see it not only as the site of their oppression at home and in society, but also make it a field of battle to vanquish their oppressors. Thank you.